The NFL coaching carousel has already begun with 7 openings already available. And once again, I was right about one specific coach. The Packers are the real deal. Jordan Love is the next Hall of Fame quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. But do they stand a chance against the San Francisco 49ers? And speaking of playoffs, we have a lot of good games coming up. We are going to make our picks. And if you're betting, make sure you don't follow them. That and more coming up on Sports Talk with Dad right now. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Sports Talk with Dad. As always, my name is Kyle, and I cannot call this Sports Talk with Dad without the man sitting next to me, a man who just doesn't seem to understand the phrase, take it easy, my dad, Tim.
I understand the term, and I use it. I have the album. The Eagles are great.
The Eagles are, in my opinion, a very underrated band.
They're one of the best bands of all time.
I don't think a lot of people know the Beatles know the Eagles that well. I really don't. I've known people that don't know the song Desperado.
Which is that's a crime. We can't be friends.
Like the Beatles live on, right?
Sure.
Because they are iconic and they get remembered.
Oh,
the Stones will as well. The Eagles could easily get forgotten for time.
I don't think. Well,
out of the big bands, I mean, as much as I think they're underrated, there are places that I don't think rate them as a band in the top 10.
They were one of the first big country acts to cross over into rock and roll.
Yeah.
But today it'd be hardcore country.
Probably. I think a lot of the rock bands from back in the day would be hardcore country.
Kansas. There's several that I think would be the Allman Brothers, may even be over there.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the Eagles should rank higher than Queen in the top 10 rankings?
God.
Be careful, because me claiming to be your son is on the line here.
Yes, I know. Look, Queen is one of the best bands of all time. Freddie is the absolute best voice ever in the history of rock and roll. They are completely different kinds of bands. I mean, Queen is glam rock. Bohemian Rhapsody. Eagles are Hotel California, Desperado. All of their great hits, but much softer. So, I mean, I'm always going to take Queen first.
All right.
But Eagles are right there with her.
I don't think it's as close, but I am definitely biased in this conversation.
Well, I introduced you. I raised you well. I introduced you to Queen very early.
You did. Bohemian Rhapsody still, I mean, it's the greatest song of all time without a chorus. There's no chorus in Bohemian Rhapsody, which many people don't realize.
I know Roger did some of the harmonizing.
He did.
But there is no chorus.
There's no chorus in Bohemian Rhapsody. That's your fun fact of the day. I love talking about bands, especially the Eagles. But there's another Eagles that we need to talk about here, and that's going to go on to the coaching carousel. And let me tell you, this is going to be an interesting ride with already 7 vacancies, and you and I both, I think, believe there will be 2 more. But there are definitely characters I would not hop on to ride going forward.
Me too.
Let's talk about the Panthers.
I don't want to.
So you have an owner who is an egomaniac. We know this. He's throwing beers on fans when he's losing.
His customers.
Right. I mean, it was an away game.
I don't care.
But those are the NFL's customers for sure. This guy's a loose cannon and is clearly quick to fire the coach. He's been the owner for 5 years and has had 3 coaches.
I wouldn't touch that job with a 10-foot pole.
Bryce Young was a stupid pick. I said that was from the word go.
Oh, right.
I mean, he could still turn it around. I think he's smart, but he's too small.
Yeah,
he should have been a 3rd-round pick.
If he's not an I mean, he's got so much talent, and I get it.
He's got the brains.
But he's 5'2", 185 pounds.
So, the Panthers want Ben Johnson. That's their number one target. He wants an offensive coach. But here's the thing is you have to be on the same page. It's why Tennessee fired Mike Vrabel, right? Because they weren't on the same page. He and the GM were not on the same page.
They never were going to be.
And that's another reason why I think Vrabel is better suited for college, because I think he just wants to control things, and he'll have that opportunity in the college ranks. Or the Patriots, because the Patriots will hand over the keys to the kingdom.
Well, they already hired their coach.
That's right. They went with, yes, I did know that. Why can't I think of his name right now? It doesn't matter. This is why we need a producer. Don't worry about it. I just think he needs the keys to the kingdom to someplace. I don't. He's trying. Tepper's trying to be Jerry Jones. He's acting like Jerry Jones, but not as good, which is boggles the mind because Jerry Jones has definitely made mistakes.
Yeah, and he's an egomaniac as well, but he's an egomaniac that's very business savvy, and has a modicum of class.
Jerry Jones.
Yes, not the.
Well, David Tepper, like, look what he did to his old boss that fired him. He bought his house and tore it down just to spite him.
Okay, we all know there are 1,000. I mean, he reminds me of the guys who killed Diana Vine's dogs in Green Bay way back in the day.
Yeah.
He's just a redneck.
It's not a good fit there. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't know who in the world you could convince to go there. You're not getting any of the big name coaches. Dan Quinn won't go there. Mike McCarthy won't go there. Bill Belichick won't go there.
No, it'll have to be some kind of an assistant.
What do you think about Bill Belichick going and interviewing with Atlanta?
I was surprised. I didn't see that as a fit at all. He's going to want full control, obviously.
Right.
He may accept the GM at this point just to lighten his load. You know, he's being talked about with Dallas right and left.
Yep.
I don't see that one as a fit. I just don't.
I do. You have a great young team. All you're missing is a quarterback. Well, here's the thing, though. Bears have the number 1 overall pick. And if the Bears decide they need to go quarterback, which I think is a mistake, and I don't think they will. I want to put that out there. I don't think they're going with
Now with bringing back Eberflus.
I think they're going to ride with Justin Fields. But if they make that decision, Justin Fields becomes available. And Justin Fields is a real good fit with that Atlanta team.
The question would he be a good fit with Bill?
I think so. I mean, if Bill can get along with Cam Newton, he can get along with anybody.
There is that. It was an interesting choice to see him take. I was thinking Washington for him.
Washington's an interesting one, but you want to talk about a team that's not ready to win. Here's the thing with Bill Belichick is he's 72, 73 years old now. I mean, he's ready to win now.
Yeah, he wants to win five more years, I think.
So you got to go to a team that's ready to win. So where are the teams that are ready to win? Atlanta is a team that is a quarterback away from being ready to win.
Got a lot of pieces.
Drake London has been a great wide receiver for them. Kyle Pitts has been underutilized. You have Bijan Robinson, who is very underutilized this year in the running game. You got a defense that is better than I think people give them credit for. And with a defensive scheme of Bill Belichick, I think that makes perfect sense.
We're going to find out shortly. I think these are all going to start to roll pretty quick.
The other one that confuses me, the other one that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole is the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is going to the Chargers now. Why would you go to the Chargers? They have no young talent. They're about to be $200 million plus over the cap in the next year or two. You have a quarterback that's, I'm sorry, he's Phillip Rivers 2.0.
Yeah, but Harbaugh works wonders with quarterbacks, and you know it.
Sure. The kid's got an arm. He's tall. He looks the part. He's got a beautiful spiral.
Sure.
Hasn't won anything. Anytime he's had a chance in the playoffs, he hasn't won. You have no talent there. There is zero talent at the wide receiver that's not aging at that position. You sign these players to massive contracts to win now, and you clearly picked the wrong coach to go with. Staley was bad. Kellen Moore was worse, who they interviewed, which why would you interview Kellen Moore when he was your offensive coordinator for a bad team?
I have no idea. I mean, Kellen Moore is going to be
he's most overrated offensive coordinator.
He'll get another OC
He reminds
job.
me of Jason Garrett. Just overrated.
I mean, Garrett was up one year, he was down one year.
Explain to me what besides Herbert.
I think that's what everybody.
A lot about.
That's what everybody is looking at.
You don't have anything else there. Your defense is old and aging. You haven't done well in the draft to bring in young talent to replace this talent that you have. I just don't see any benefit of going to the Chargers. There's nothing there. You have to rebuild an entire team around a quarterback that's already taking up a ton of your cap.
But if you're Harbaugh and you've got complete control and the owners are out of your way, maybe it's a deal. I know
if I'm Harbaugh, I'm really looking at Atlanta. If I'm Harbaugh, Atlanta is where I want to be.
Harbaugh is going to end up either in Los Angeles or Dallas.
What about Washington?
I don't see. Well, Washington was open early and talked about because the rest of his family could live out there.
Right.
I don't think that's what they're looking for, and I don't think he really wants that.
Atlanta, they're looking for a coach with NFL experience. They don't want to do this again. I think there are three options for Atlanta. I think there is Jim Harbaugh. I think there's Bill Belichick. And I think there's a coach that's about to be on the market.
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, yeah. I think especially if you bring in Justin Fields, he can do wonders with that organization. But here's the unfair thing in Dallas. Mike McCarthy's won 12 games 3 years in a row. Hasn't won a playoff game. But the issue is in all three playoff games, his quarterback is choked.
Right, and they're going to. The problem with Dallas is they're going to have to re-sign Dak Prescott because what else do they have?
Trey Lance.
Again, what else do they have?
Here's my thought. I called this weeks ago.
Oh, you're not going to. Go ahead.
Weeks ago.
I know what's coming.
I said Nick Saban is going to retire from Alabama because he doesn't like how the transfer portal's going, and he has nothing more to prove in college football. And what happened?
He retired.
He retired. Yep. So I called that, right? I also said, with a guy like Nick Saban, he's going to have an ego.
You think?
And if you look at what happened with Pete Carroll left USC to come to the NFL because he had failed in the NFL with the Patriots and couldn't let that sit. I have to win in the NFL. Nick Saban will always...
Hold on. Pete Carroll also left because they were about to get hit with massive sanctions.
Yeah, it was a smart move overall.
Yeah.
But Nick Saban also will always have on his record
Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. And if he would have, if his doctors would have passed Drew Brees, he would have been a Miami Dolphin, and his time in the NFL is very, very different.
Sure.
I don't think he can sit there and say, this is on my record, and I just have to let this sit. I think he has to win in the NFL. I think he has to prove he can win in the NFL. And there are rumors that Nick Saban was just on a plane
to Dallas, I heard.
Dallas.
Look.
Come fly with me. Come fly. Let's fly away.
Yeah, let's get us tagged again. I could see him going there, but we're recycling a Barry Switzer thing without the team that Barry Switzer had to work with.
Well, Barry Switzer, I completely disagree. Barry Switzer had all of the coordinators that Jimmy Johnson had, all the players that Jimmy Johnson had.
That's why
you don't have a winning team. The Barry Switzer thing is you had a team that just won a Super Bowl.
Right.
You don't have that in Dallas right now.
No, but I'm talking just about bringing in a college coach.
Yeah.
That will let Jerry be Jerry.
Yeah.
Or Jera. And that he can kind of, he'll leave him alone to do his thing.
That's not Nick Saban, though. Barry Switzer was at the end of a career who was friends with Nick Saban.
I get it.
Bill Belichick apparently has also flown out to Dallas.
Yes, he has.
Bit. So you have Belichick and Saban there who are best friends.
Well, they're not going to work together. They're not going to work together. Okay, which ego is going to take the coordinator position and which ego is going to take the head coaching position?
Bill Belichick, the coordinator. So his friend can win a Super Bowl.
That would be one for the books. I'll give you that.
Bill Belichick smiled and told a joke at a press conference. Anything's possible. I'm just saying, I mean, it would kind of taint that Super Bowl for Nick Saban, but Nick Saban is a good fit there. He's a big name, and will his ego allow him just to go into the booth as a college football analyst, and then all of a sudden he gives his opinion on the NFL, and somebody looks at him and it's like, well, why would we listen to you? You never won in the NFL. You ran away from the Dolphins for Alabama. That is a part of his story.
I know it is.
Greatest college
Sure.
coach of all time. He has to live with the fact that Pete Carroll outranks him as one of the greatest football coaches of all time. Pete Carroll is in the College Football Hall of Fame and will be in the NFL Hall of Fame as a head coach. You think Nick Saban's going to allow that to fester?
He's how old? 73?
He's same age as Belichick. They're around the same age, so something like that.
You talk about, granted, Dallas was a team ready to win. I think Saban would give them toughness that they clearly didn't have.
We'll bring in a college quarterback. He knows how to work with them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to find out.
You can bring in Bill O'Brien as your offense coordinator in the NFL.
Okay. I'm going to change the subject.
Well, I'm just saying, I want this to sit because I called this, And I think it's about to happen.
I don't think it's about to happen. I don't.
I don't know.
We're gonna,
I've been scarily right about a lot of things on this show.
You've had a few.
Things I've been surprised I've been right about.
We were right on our second show, but
yeah,
we'll see on this one because I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on that one yet.
I got another one for Bill Belichick.
Yes.
That I think would be a real good fit. That's
What?
a team that's ready to win right now with a quarterback he loves. And that quarterback that loves him back.
The New York Jets.
Could Bill Belichick be the next head coach with the New York Jets? Now, Woody Johnson says we're going to run it back with the same coach, but if Bill Belichick comes knocking and says, I want to coach Aaron Rodgers, which he's wanted to do for a very long time.
And Rodgers would be all for it.
Yeah. There's a lot of respect there. Rodgers would shut up and listen to Bill Belichick. If he says Nathaniel Hackett's not your offensive coordinator, Rodgers listens.
Because they both want to win a Super Bowl, so they're not any longer compared as much to Brady.
Here's the issue: is Aaron Rodgers is walking all over everybody in that organization right now, and if Bill Belichick comes in, he won't do that.
True, and it'd be a good thing if he didn't do that.
It would be a great thing. So could Bill Belichick be heading to the New York Jets?
There's some bad blood between the organization and Bill, but that was
different owner.
Different owner.
Different owner.
I told you about that one, or I thought it was going to be that one a week ago.
Yeah, but we said it like the same.
My God, you have this pathological need to get the predictions right.
I do.
Can't be you, Dad. It's got to be me.
You also had the idea. I'm giving you credit.
Yeah, but you right there with it.
I wouldn't be your son if I didn't do this. I mean, that's kind of the whole point.
I do know one organization that better be very careful about firing their current interim head coach.
Yeah.
Las Vegas players have come out. Max Crosby has said, if he goes, I go.
Yep.
Devontae Adams has come out in support of Antonio Pierce.
Yep. He's earned the job.
And he's earned the job.
He's earned the job.
Yeah.
You need a new quarterback.
You will.
But he has that locker room humming. The issue with locker room guys, though, is we've seen it with Wade Phillips several times. Wade Phillips is a great locker room guy, a great players coach. And it's great for a little bit. But all of a sudden, it stops working.
But if you can ride it for as long as it works and you can get someplace.
Do they have the team to ride it for as long as it works? I don't think the Raiders are any good. I mean, you have Devontae Adams, you have Max Crosby. Name me two other players on that team.
They need a quarterback, clearly.
They need a quarterback.
I think they would be. They've got pieces they need.
They definitely have pieces.
They're probably 5 to 7 players away.
Okay, that's a lot of players.
A lot of players, but pieces that can be plugged in.
I mean, I think they need to be really careful about that, but players say things and then they're still under contract.
Right.
Like, I mean, players can say a lot of things and it doesn't seem to always make a difference in the end. I just don't know who else that you could consider bringing in. I mean, could you bring in a Ben Johnson? Yeah, you could. I mean, he seems to be the hot candidate right now for everybody.
Oh, look what he did with Detroit's offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he was outstanding. I could see him in Washington.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him in Tennessee. Well, maybe he'd be a good fit in Tennessee. Seattle. Although I still think Vrabel goes to Seattle.
I don't. I think Dan Quinn goes to Seattle. Here's my predictions.
He's got the ties.
Dan Quinn is going to Seattle.
Even after the last week's performance.
Dan Quinn is going to Seattle.
Okay.
There's too many connections there. It makes too much sense. Jim Harbaugh, against my wishes, will end up with the Chargers because they're going to give him everything. They're not going to let him leave L.A. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
If he goes to Dallas, that's where he ends up.
Yeah. But Nick Saban's going to Dallas.
Uh-huh. College coach, but the wrong one. It'll be Harbaugh if they can get him.
Mike McCarthy is going to the Falcons.
Be a great fit.
Bill Belichick is going to the Jets.
Long shot.
Bill Belichick is going to the Jets.
Okay.
And I don't know what Washington's going to do. I think Ben Johnson, if he's going to end up picking a place to go, I think Washington makes sense.
Although I think the owners want to hire someone with head coaching experience.
Washington, not so much. They just want to turn around the offense. The Titans want to, the Falcons want to hire somebody with,
right.
Arthur Smith came out and said, I want somebody with NFL experience. And that's why I think Mike McCarthy's a good fit. Tennessee, I don't know what they're going to do. I could see Ben Johnson going there, but he really gets to make his pick. I don't know why he would. I could see a Ben Johnson in Seattle for sure, and a Dan Quinn in a Washington. I don't think Dan Quinn sits back again and waits for a head coaching job to open up. I think
he'll grab
the
it.
irons hot. Do you think Ron Rivera coaches anywhere next year?
No. I think he'll take a year off.
I think so too.
The other one that's up in the air, well, there's one guy who could leave his team, and that being Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh.
He could.
And then you've got the opening at Philly, which I think is going to happen because
that's not open.
It's not open yet, but that team quit on him completely yesterday.
Yeah.
It was bad. I've never seen a worse playoff performance in my life. They
quit on him.
They did. I mean, they were walking through a practice. It was ugly. And if Tampa could have caught a couple balls, they would have scored 50.
Yeah, they clearly gave up at the end of that game.
It was bad.
I mean, Matt Patricia was a bad hire as a defensive coordinator. He should be fired for that alone. We'll see. We'll see. One coach, though, that has made me eat my words.
Me too.
Is Matt LaFleur. But before we move on to the Green Bay Packers, you let us know what you think about the coaching carousel that is happening right now. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it.
Actually, our criticism of LaFleur has been spot on.
It has.
A switch was flipped when they were embarrassed
by the Panthers.
By the Panthers, and they called out, LaFleur called out Barry in his press conference.
Called out Barry. He called out Jair. There was clearly a good conversation that happened between them. I honestly think the conversation was, I didn't even know you were from Carolina. Why didn't you just ask to be the captain?
Correct.
That's the only reason Jair is quiet the way he is now, is because he knows he messed up.
Correct. There would have been no problem with him going out.
I tell you what, last year or even earlier in this season, that conversation doesn't go that way. Jair Alexander's attitude comes from the coaching staff.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that his attitude has changed shows that LaFleur actually stepped up. I tell you, after that press conference after Carolina and watching him coach, he has a different look in his eyes. Our boy became a man.
He did. I think he went to Joe Barry and said, look, we aren't friends. You work for me.
Yeah.
We are not doing this zone shit anymore.
Nope.
We're done.
This defense is not yours. This is my team. And you're going to run the defense I tell you to run.
And to Joe Barry's credit, he's done that.
What choice does he have?
Well, look, I've worked for a lot of people that are passive aggressive and just do enough to get by, and the team suffers.
Yeah, but you're not going to see. You wouldn't have seen any change. I think Matt LaFleur was in the defensive coaching room saying, "What the hell's going on? What are we running this week? You're running this by me." And I'm telling you, our boy became a man.
He did,
and he was ready for Dallas. Mike McCarthy was clearly nervous about that game. Matt LaFleur was ready to go. I am nervous going into San Francisco.
Yeah, so am I.
Because that's Kyle Shanahan. They have been friends for a very long time.
And then they weren't.
But
every time they played, LaFleur went into a little box.
He did.
It was intimidating.
Mike McCarthy went into a box last week. And pardon me, I apologize. And I think the same thing might happen this week. I'm really scared about it.
I am too. I'm worried about it. Look, the Packers gave Dallas matchup problems to the nth degree.
Well, and that's the thing. The Packers were the one team that matched up extremely well against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
That's the one team, if I'm the Cowboys, I didn't want to play. And it's because they don't have a good running offense, and the Packers have a terrible run defense, which is going to kill us in San Francisco.
And yet they were okay on Sunday. You're going to have to adjust.
Playing against a bad run offense.
Well, yeah, but you're going to have to adjust your schemes. Look, I think this game is going to be close. Packers need to get out to a lead because they are obviously better as front runners.
Right. And then play conservative in the end and cost us games.
No, he didn't do that. I mean,
he did for a second.
He did. I mean, pulling out Jordan Love with 5 minutes left in the game made him look foolish. Because Dallas,
you wouldn't let him throw the ball.
You wouldn't let Clifford throw the ball at all. And Dallas was like, yeah, we aren't through with this yet.
Right. We're going to start teeing off.
We all saw Seattle. Ugh.
That's what made me. I made that comment to you
Yeah.
when the game was going on. When they were started scoring, I texted you. I said, "You remember Seattle?"
All too well. I died that day. So I was
So did
watching.
Aaron Rodgers.
I was watching with a Bear fan.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
Well, that's your own fault. That's why you can't make dating decisions. It's just always a bad call.
That was a good dating decision. She just supported the wrong team.
Yeah. Where is she now? Oh, yeah, not around anymore. Sounds like a bad dating decision.
Anyway.
If I can't tease you about your dating life, then what's the point of me living? Watching you just turn red right now is the highlight of my day.
Well, I'm glad I made your day.
It did. Here's my question to you.
Go ahead.
Jordan Love, Hall of Famer number 3.
No. Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to say this over again. Jordan Love, Hall of Famer number 3, because all you need is love.
Not yet.
He's not playing on that contract he has next year after a playoff win.
Well, they better, when they're out, and I hope they're not out this weekend. I would love the upset more than you can possibly imagine.
He's getting $53.5 million a year. He's going to be the second highest paid quarterback under Joe Burrow, unless he makes it to the Super Bowl. Then he's going to be paid $56 million a year and $275 overall. But I think it's about $265 overall, $53.5 million a year.
I think the Packers are going to give him a huge bonus, $150 million plus.
Well, you're going to give him a lot of guaranteed money for sure,
Yeah.
and the signing bonus, from my understanding, doesn't count against the cap.
Correct.
So the bigger the signing bonus, the less that is against the cap. You're obviously going to push this out. There's going to be a lot of void years on the end to make it work.
There'll be deferred payments.
It's going to be a whole thing. I don't think the NFL does deferred payments. Not the way baseball does.
Not the way baseball does, but I think they have ways to do it.
I know there's void years at the end. I'm not a capologist by any means. I'm not smart enough to do that type of math. But there's ways to make it where this isn't going to hurt until the end, and at that point, you're going to redo it anyway.
Right.
Jordan Love is about to be one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
He will not be the highest paid. That's not Green Bay. But he will be.
All right, what are you talking about?
He'll be.
Twice they made Aaron Rodgers the highest paid in the league.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 times they made him the highest paid. And 4, or what was it? It was the one big contract, because that's when they did the 10-year contract with Favre. They also made Favre the highest paid quarterback in the league.
But it was after
that's not Green Bay, when Green Bay has 4 times in the last 20 years had the highest paid quarterback in the league.
When did they do that? When those guys were established and we already knew at that point they were first ballot Hall of Famers. Yeah, then you pay them. Jordan Love's not at that point yet.
They paid Favre beforehand too with his MVPs. I'm wrong. After 96, they made him the highest paid quarterback in the league. So in the last 30 years, 5 times the Green Bay Packers have had the highest paid quarterback in the league. And they gave him Rodgers a massive extension.
Sure.
After he started taking over. Now, it wasn't the highest paid quarterback they got after the Super Bowl, but he had a big extension that put him in the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the NFL right after his second year.
Look, Packers are very good with money.
Yeah.
They're not going to do things to hurt the team long term.
No.
Goody, especially. The contract he negotiated last year, when they could have just taken the 5th-year option.
It was a prove-it year.
It was a prove-it year, and Jordan Love
proved it. He's not playing on that stupid contract that pays him $12 million next year.
Well, if the Packers let him play on that, they're fools, because he may be gone after that.
Well, he is gone. He's going to pull a Devontae Adams. Fine, I'll play on this, and then walk away. You're not going to do that. Jordan Love is the answer, because all you need is love. Love is all you need.
Jordan Love, I want to see what happens, because he's going to have a sophomore slump. They all do.
Maybe.
They all do.
I think he did in October.
Okay, let's hope that's the case. I'll take that. He also had a switch that flipped around that same time.
The whole team did.
It's just, they turn things around.
Yeah.
The wide receivers are catching the balls.
The whole team said, we're not doing this shit. Jordan, you're going to go do what you do.
Yeah.
Go play football. Because you noticed all of a sudden he's been able to throw the deep ball.
Yes. And he's made some of the most hellacious throws I've seen. I mean, right up there with Rodgers and Favre. I'm not giving him a gold jacket for the Hall of Fame yet.
Okay.
Talk to me in about 4 or 5 years and I'll know.
I'll do it.
Yeah, of course you will.
Go.
Of course you
will. I gave it to him in Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
And guess who was right yet again? This guy.
You also were ready to proclaim Ohtani the greatest of all time.
He is the greatest of all time.
Not yet.
He's the only one to pitch and hit during the live ball era successfully.
We're not going down this road. You weren't right about that. Got to do it for a longer period of time. I haven't
been wrong yet, have I? Even in your standards, I definitely haven't been wrong.
He better hit 60. All he's doing is hitting this year. Anyways, back to football.
That's a fair point. He is hitting this year.
That's it.
He just made a lot of money.
Whole lot of money.
But I was right about him too, and I'm also right about Jordan Love. He's going to be. He may not. It depends what happens in San Francisco. If he beats the Niners, which has been the thorn in the Packers' side for decades. I mean, that's the team we cannot beat in the playoffs. Our Super Bowl runs didn't go through San Francisco ever. They've owned us. In the same way the Packers have owned Dallas, San Francisco has owned Green Bay. And Dallas has owned San Francisco. It's a fun little circular thing. If Jordan Love beats San Francisco and goes to the NFC Championship, I mean, you're going to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Sure, if that happens, he'll be right up there. But I think Jordan Love also is one of the smartest people we've had at quarterback.
I like Jordan Love a lot.
I like him a lot. And I think we both love Mama Love.
Mama Love is my spirit animal.
And she is his rock.
Yeah.
And I think
they don't show her on TV a lot. I don't want to see Taylor Swift. I want to see Mama Love.
I do too.
Well, this is where it's going to be hard for Jordan Love too. At least it'll be interesting, is the fact that Jordan Love is from California.
He is.
Another California kid we got.
Okay.
Back-to-back California kids. It's a lot of pressure coming into California with the team I'm sure he probably cheered for. I don't know if he was a Raiders fan or a Niners fan or what I have no idea.
It doesn't matter. I think he'll handle it fine.
He doesn't show emotions.
He doesn't.
It's scary. He doesn't show. Like, he is straight-faced.
The only time I see him show emotion is when LaFleur calls the timeout on him.
He gets really mad at that. He did smile after a touchdown in Dallas.
He did.
Which was impressive to see.
I think in his mind at that point, going, Jesus, I can't believe I can't believe this right now.
It was after one of the throws where it's like, where did that come from?
Exactly.
But he is real good. He's real calm. He doesn't show a lot of emotion unless LaFleur calls a timeout when he doesn't want him to. He's clearly taking control of this team. He is the true leader of this team. There is no question about it who the leader of that team is. And San Francisco, the only thing that's going to cost the Packers in San Francisco is that running game that they have. Because the Packers' run defense is atrocious.
It's awful. I mean, if they can figure a way to stop that, slow it down.
Yeah.
Problem though, McCaffrey will catch you to death too. I mean, he's just
between him, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, who's playing really well. You have to get to Purdy. That's your only hope.
It's the only hope.
You have to make him pass, and you have to get to Purdy. Otherwise, you're toast. He's good enough to manage that team. The defense is really good. You're going to have to score quick.
And so I think the Packers have to score early, get up on them.
Yeah.
Let the defense try to slow them down, hold them to field goal or punt.
You have to get them passing. You really do. If you let them get up and they can just run, the Packers are screwed. I mean, it's going to be a long Sunday for you and I watching that game. But
it'll be a learning experience.
I mean, it's 10 right now. I've actually been debating putting some money on the Packers because it's plus 300 or 400 right now. So if I take the Packers straight up, I put $100 on it, I walk away with $400.
Nobody is taking the Packers seriously.
No, because the line moved. It was like 9.5 points, and it moved to 10, which means everybody is taking the 49ers right now for a lot of points.
That may be a mistake. I mean,
could be. They gave Dallas 7.
I know, but the Packers have weapons that San Francisco is going to be having trouble covering.
The wide receiver room is scarily impressive. Like, it shouldn't be as impressive as it is.
And 2 tight ends.
And
Aaron Jones. So what are you going to guard?
I'm not worried about the offense.
No, I'm not either.
The defense. Yeah, I'm not worried about the pass offense. I'm worried about the run defense.
I'm worried about our place kicker a lot.
Yeah, we just need to bring in Mason Crosby this week and say goodbye to Carlson. We really don't need him around anymore.
No.
I don't like watching him kick. I don't like him being our kicker. I'm not a big fan of it. Jordan Love, though, is about to get a massive contract no matter what happens. But you let us know what you think in the comments below, and while you're down there, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy the show as much as we enjoy making it the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, you had a great week. You were 4-2.
4-2. Thank you very much. And that was me making picks I shouldn't have made. If I'm being honest, I think I could have went 6-0. No, I couldn't have. I'm lucky to have a win.
I was 3-3.
You went 3-3. Both of us weren't that bad, but we have some picks to make this week in some games that should be amazing. I'm going to kick us off here. Texans at Baltimore.
Rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud, going to the MVP, Lamar Jackson. I think in this case, weather's going to be an issue. I'm going to put my money on an experienced head coach, experienced quarterback. Baltimore wins.
I made a mistake last week. I went with the experienced head coach. I went with the experienced quarterback against the Texans. I'm not making that mistake yet. CJ Stroud is from the Ohio State University. And his top receiver is from Michigan, which is weird to me, but the teams to make a good connection across the border. They are really, really good.
Will Anderson Jr. is everything he was billed to be.
He is, and he's really showed up the second half of the season. They're letting him go. DeMeco Ryans is an unbelievable head coach with what he's been able to do with this team. It's nothing against John Harbaugh, but this is playoff Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in the playoffs has not been good.
No.
This is his chance to show up, and this is C.J. Stroud, who played in Columbus, Ohio. Like, it's not like he doesn't know what weather is.
No,
He's prepared for the weather.
He can handle it.
The Texans are going to win this one, and I think they're going to come up. They're going to go up big early, and I think this could be a 10-point win.
Well, I don't think so, but we'll see.
I don't know how it's going to be a shootout either way.
It
All right,
will.
You got the next one. Which one are we doing?
What is the next game?
I got it right here. Don't worry. Buccaneers at the Lions.
I'm not looking at the show sheet right now. I'm sorry. Buccaneers beat a very bad Philadelphia team last night. It's in Detroit. It's not going to be a blow up by any means. I'm going to give it to the Lions, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa wins.
Did you ever realize that Baker Mayfield looks like a pirate?
He does.
You think he's been doing that on purpose since he's been in there? Baker Mayfield has really good control of that team. He really does. I mean, he has been the leader of that team vocally. He's a Pro Bowl. He should have been a Pro Bowler this year, which again is something I called at the beginning of the season. I have to brag about it because nobody believes I'm ever right. So if I don't call out the times that I'm right, nobody thinks I'm ever right.
I will tell you when you're right.
Okay, then I'm never going to hear that I'm right.
So learn an experience.
I think the Buccaneers are a dangerous team in this situation. Now, I have a hard time because I have two of my really good friends that are Buccaneers fans that watch this show.
We lived there and we never became Buccaneers fans.
I have another really good friend who is a Lions fan in this situation that watches this show. So I'm about to upset friends either way. The Lions scared me last week. The Buccaneers were always in control. The Lions, it was a nail biter. But there was a lot of pressure for them to win their first playoff game. Did you know since JFK has been assassinated, he has missed 2 playoff victories for the Lions?
Yeah.
That's all they've won.
How long did it take to find that joke?
It was sent to me. I'm not even clever enough to come up with it myself. But he has missed 2 playoff victories for the Lions in the Super Bowl era. That is all they have won. They got over that hump. I think Jared Goff he's beaten McVay, which I think was hard for him. I think they're going to come in, and I'm actually with you. I think the Lions are going to win this one.
Okay.
We got Kansas City at Buffalo for Patrick Mahomes' first playoff game on the road.
Weather's not going to be an issue for either team. They both are used to it. Mahomes playing in another stadium in a playoff game is going to be jarring.
Never seen it before.
Never seen it.
Bills Mafia will be loud.
They will. They will. And there'll still be snow in the stadium probably. The Bills look really impressive last night.
They've come on the way the Packers have at the second half.
They have. They're the hottest team in the AFC by far. Josh Allen's playing at another level, whether he's running or throwing. I think it's just the Bills' time.
I've seen a sign in the stadium that I've only ever seen in Wrigley Field in 2016, which is just one before I die. I saw it there and I was like, I know that sign. I had that sign, just one before I die. The Bills are the hot hand right now. I don't know why you and I are all of a sudden agreeing on these, but I think that the defense is good enough to get them where they need to go. The greatest coaching decision ever made mid-season was made with the Bills saying goodbye to their offensive coordinator. It changed the trajectory of this team. It's really Josh Allen being Josh Allen again. He seems to have control. Bills, I'm looking at the Bills as my Super Bowl team right now coming out of the AFC.
Wow. Okay.
They are looking that good. Big change from the beginning of the season where neither you or I thought they were making the playoffs.
No, exactly.
Which leads us to the game we already know how I'm going to pick this. So it is more on you. The Packers are going to San Francisco, or San Jose, I should say, to play the 49ers.
Oh, it was Santa Clara.
I don't really care. I know it's right next to San Jose.
Santa Ana.
They're all Saints. Did you know that if you look at San Francisco, San Diego, they're all named after saints?
Right.
They're all saint names.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. Like most of the names in San Francisco are Christian names for their town.
That's because the Spanish had missionaries all up and down the coast.
It's crazy. It's kind of ironic that it's in California, but that's a story for a different day.
It was a different California then.
Different California.
So
but
you
get the first pick. We've talked a lot about this game already.
We have. I want the Packers to win.
I do too.
But I think their good season is going to come to an end. I think San Francisco wins in a game that will be closer than 10. Packers will cover.
I either think this is going to be a close game where the Packers have the edge, or it's going to be a blowout where San Francisco runs the table on the Packers.
Depends which defense shows up.
McCaffrey's going to be something to deal with here. Deebo Samuel adds more to it. I'm worried about that run defense.
I am sure. I mean, if it becomes a shootout, I actually am cool with that because the Packers can stay in a shootout at this point.
I just don't want to get blown out by the Niners.
I
really don't. You know my pick. I pick the Packers. For those of you that are new to the show, I don't pick against the Green Bay Packers. I refuse to do it. And so no matter how I actually feel, I will always pick the Green Bay Packers.
And I have to be the voice of reason.
Only with one. I can't pick against the Packers. And I love when you pick against the Packers because it normally means they win, at least this year. The only time I've ever picked against the Packers was that 2004-2005 season where they were 4-12 that year. Even towards the end, I was like, listen, this team sucks. It is what it is. We're going to lose these games.
I was trying to black out Mike Sherman. His existence. Thank you for reminding me.
I had to start picking against the Packers during that season, but every other year, I won't pick against the Packers because I always think they have a legitimate chance to win. Does that make me a homer?
Absolutely.
Of course it does.
But you're
an
owner.
Do I care? No, but I also am an owner. You see the banner back there, so I'm always going to pick my team. I love being able to say that, but I also understand why fans of other organizations find it so obnoxious.
I know.
So know if you're a fan of a different organization, I get it. I don't care.
Exactly. Because
I have legal tender that says I'm part owner of the Green Bay Packers.
Do you know why they roll their eyes and why they're so angry?
Jealousy.
Because they can't do it.
Right. Jealousy.
Yes.
Just like they're jealous of all of our quarterbacks.
Pure green-eyed, nasty jealousy.
And yet the 49ers still own us every step of the way.
I'm hoping LaFleur has flipped that switch too.
This will be the time to do it. I mean, if we're going to kick off the Jordan Love era right, it will be with beating the 49ers. That's where we can really make a new candle in the birthday cake. Can you imagine if Jordan Love won a Super Bowl in his first year as a starter? I'm jumping way ahead, but if the Packers get past
we'll have
the
that
49ers,
we'll have that conversation if they win this weekend.
Beat the Buccaneers or the Lions.
I do too. Look, I'm not even going to let myself go there. I can't.
I will.
Just can't.
The Packers are going to win. You let us know what you think in the comments below, and while you're down there, like, subscribe, so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. But as all of you know, you cannot have a conversation with your dad without your father getting the last word. So it is all you.
Because the show has went this way anyways, I'm going to brag on Jordan Love again, but for something completely different and off the field. He was in a parking lot, and we had a ton of snow, and it was bitter cold. And a woman's car had stalled. Lucy, I hope I pronounced her last name right, Kurowski. Important to remember her name, by the way. So he walked over and said, look, can I help you at all? And he tried a couple times to push it. And then she finally looked at him and said, wait a minute. I've got somebody coming. You need to stop. He goes, fine, I'll keep helping. She goes, no, you're the Packers quarterback. You've got a big game this weekend. You need to, I'm not going to be the reason you get hurt before that game. And so he left, kind of laughing about the whole situation. But Green Bay is one of the only places this would ever happen. Not only would a Packer star quarterback try to help somebody in need, but the fan would look at him and go, I'm not going to answer to all the fans in case you get hurt doing this, so you need to go away right now. Got a nice selfie. The hero of this week is Lucy Kurowski.
Well, yeah, because she refused to let Jordan Love stop or keep helping her. I mean, That was a smart decision.
Could you imagine if he would have pulled a back muscle?
That girl, I would have felt more bad for the girl.
I would have too.
She would have never forgiven herself for that situation.
No, she wouldn't have.
Packers quarterback does not help to be pushing a car, but the fact that he offered to help shows the type of person we have for Jordan Love. So 49er fans, listen up, because clearly our quarterback is better than yours.
We hope.
We hope. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. We will see you next week. This has been Sports Talk with Dad.
Bye, everybody.